Courtney, perfect. All right, let's get started. Oh my goodness. All right. So obviously super duper stoked for this. This is my first kind of big webinar, teaching you what I've been learning across my journey, which is a ton. I definitely hope everybody has a cocktail or some fun way to enjoy this 45 minutes or so that we're going to spend together. I'm going to pack in a ton of tips and tricks and knowledge into this. So you're definitely going to want a piece of paper, and I want you to have fun while you're here. So no, I can't see the chat function, but I still would love for you to pop in the comments really quick and let me know where you're tuning in from. I think we've got people actually all across the world, which is awesome. Let me know where you're from and put your Instagram handle in there because we can connect with each other. There's awesome powerhouse women in here. So you are in the right spot if you are excited to learn how to supercharge your revenue. I'm going to share some specific instances of how I have closed deals fast, how I found them, and where I found them. Now, this will not be a traditional sales webinar that's teasing an offer all the way through. I'm just going to straight up teach you. That is my style. I will, at the very end, share a way that you can access a little bit more of me if you'd like to, but that will come at the end. So I just want to set expectations. I'm not here to just pitch you. My mission is education, not pitching. So let's get started. First things first, I want you to do something with me. A 15-second grounding exercise. It's my favorite thing I learned a couple weeks ago. I want you to put both feet on the floor so you can feel the floor. Close your eyes and take a big but deep breath in. Exhale. Isn't your mind a little bit clearer just with that quick second? Whatever the hustle and bustle that you endured to get here on time, you made it. And I want you to know that I am so very grateful that you are here. I know that your time is sacred, and I am committed to ensuring that I add value for you today. And I appreciate you being here genuinely. I am so excited to fill your brain with some fresh ideas. So let's go. So who am I? Am I worth listening to? I am Sarah Tucker. I am a mom of 5 kids. I live in Omaha, Nebraska. I do have one baby granddaughter, and she is now the absolute light of my life. She's 2 weeks old. In case you care, I have an MBA. I don't care. I am a corporate girl with 20 years experience in sales leadership. Now, don't ask me how I have 20 years experience because I feel like I'm about 25, but I do. It's all I've ever done. So I lead sales teams for a living. My job is P&L responsibility or profit and loss. So at the end of the day in my real job, I have to ensure that my offices are profitable, that each sales team member is exceeding their revenue goal and quota to make sure that I actually get there. And so we're making money moves here. I love it. I love my job. I love being able to teach sales. Like it's genuinely what I was put on this earth to do. But during COVID, I realized I am way too much of an extrovert. I value people and humans and connection. And that is what led to Sales Cheerleader LLC. I officially purchased that about 3.5 weeks ago. And as you've seen on social media, I've made $5,250 in just 3 weeks. This exceeded every goal and expectation I had initially laid out when I first launched my business. And now I'm just super stoked to keep this moving. Because the impact is my favorite part. Seeing people's businesses transform because of them being able to learn those foundational skills, it's my favorite. So sales is a science. When you observe, track, and study your process, you can replicate it. There's no need to guess and no need to wing it. And I'm going to share the formula with you today. The formula is clarity plus community plus consistency equals customers. Don't worry, we're going to go through that many times today. It only works though if your foundation is your ideal customer. In fact, it's the most important step in identifying where to spend your time. You have to be crystal clear, and who it is that you are here to serve. For example, this is the process that I use. This is called my ideal customer persona template. I have two ideal customers. I have named them Sophie and Lily. Sophie is a passionate entrepreneur. She's been in business for a couple of years and she's ready to invest to supercharge her revenue. Lily, on the other hand, is a corporate mama with a plan. She's ready to jump out of corporate, but realizes her hobby or passion isn't quite enough to build a business alone. She needs a sales expert to guide her through the scariest parts of starting a business, selling. I know, I hear it from all of you. It's the worst, right? So I deep dive into understanding what their pain points are. You can see on this spreadsheet, I want to know what they like, what they don't like. I create content for them. When I create something, I think, is this for Sophie or Lily, or is this for Sarah? Because if it's for me, it doesn't work. I seek them out. I listen to them. I inspire them. I cheerlead them. I educate them, all for the ultimate goal that I can eventually work with them and add my value into their world. It's a total immersion. So, my question to you is, do you know who your ideal buyers are? And are you focused 100% on them? It's easy to get that flipped, but everything you do should be for them. So, first is clarity. I've talked about this a lot. If you're in my Facebook group, you've heard this spiel before. Can you share in 7 words or less what it is that you do? So for me, I help women build wealth, period. You want people to respond with, how do you do that? It needs to be simple. It needs to be clear. It needs to be focused. My favorite phrase is less words. Your elevator pitch is probably too long. The second step in the formula is consistency. So I know that Sophie and Lily know that I will post on my Instagram feed every day. They get to expect that. They know that my content is educationally focused, that I bring high energy into the space, and that I know what the heck I'm talking about, that I am friendly and that I am fun. What is your next client's current perception of you and what you do? Take a look at your Instagram feed, take a look at your Facebook page, take a look at your marketing flyer. Somebody's unmuted. If you wouldn't mind muting, I'd appreciate it greatly. Um, and check it out and see. Next up is community. This is my favorite part. Building relationships is a key to success everywhere you go in life. It's the same on social media. You need to comment on your ideal customers' posts. You need to support them. You need to share their content. You need to save it and tell them that you did. You need to engage with them with the goal of actually getting to know them. Okay? That is crystal key to success, especially with what I'm going to share with you here. So now you're clear, you're consistent, you're concise, and you're focused on your community. So where should you go? We're going to walk through each one of these platforms today, and I'm going to give you some examples. However, I'm going to be clear and direct with you. I don't care if it's not where you want to be, period. You don't like Facebook, but your ideal customer does. You need to be on Facebook. You're worried and stressed and overwhelmed about learning a new social media platform, but your ideal customers are on Clubhouse. You got to figure it out, right? That's the key. It's easy to do what you like. It's best to do what your customers like, okay? So, first up, Clubhouse. Can you all see this or do I need to move myself? Let's move it just to be sure. So, I'm going to walk you through some specific examples. This is not a Clubhouse 101. If you need that, holler, I can help you. But Clubhouse is an audio based social app. Here are just some screenshots that I found or that are of my profile. There's currently 2 million active users on Clubhouse. And the interesting statistic about the demographics there is that they're staying on for a long period of time. So Sophie and Lily, I know, are hanging out in the business rooms. They're in speed networking rooms and they are seeking to learn about all the things I teach, right? They're seeking social media growth tips, lead generation, how to market themselves, how to get PR, what strategies they need to use to grow their business, all with that end goal of supercharging revenue. And I also know because I've done my research that they're inspired by success stories, they're inspired by learning, and they love high energy. They want to know they can do it too. So earlier this week, I was in a speed networking room. I shared my elevator pitch. I got 3 DMs from that one elevator pitch. Those all turned into 15-minute discovery calls. I did them that same day. And one of those people already signed with me. Simple, quick, easy, right? If you're a life coach, you likely won't find your ICA in the same rooms that I'm in. You can be more focused and find rooms like sister chat, struggling and overwhelmed, leave failure behind is one I found today, or the core show, health and wellness Q&A. Now, if you're a realtor, then you need to be location specific, right? For now, we don't see a ton of Omaha rooms just yet. It will come. There is one, I'm showing it here, called Startup Nebraska. They'll grow. We're always the last to do things in the middle of the country, but other cities are booming. I looked up New York City, Atlanta, San Francisco, like game on. So if you're selling real estate, check and see if your location has a club on Clubhouse and then narrow down your niche and share that story. Because ultimately, you must go where your target customers go, or you're wasting your time. Uh-oh, Instagram. Next page. Here we go. All right. I have my little teleprompter up here if you can't tell. So, Instagram, there's currently about 1.2 unique visitors active on Instagram. And 500 million accounts view stories every day. So, demographic wise, who's there? Predominantly, they're 25 to 54 years old, and women outnumber men in the 35 and up age group. 43% of women in the US say, yes, I'm on Instagram. So that's a lot of people, right? Their top interests are travel, music, and food and drink. So if you're in that niche, you definitely need to be on Instagram. But you're going to notice a common theme here. You need to be there if your customers are there. There's also some creative ways you can use location specific hashtags and also geotags. You'll notice in that middle picture, I tagged that post with Omaha, Nebraska. I get a lot of clicks and action just from tagging where I specifically live. So I'd encourage you to try that if you're not. And then also being very active in the hashtags that your customers are using. So for me, small business support. My biggest deal so far has come from an Instagram story. An acquaintance I know in real life reached out after I shared my first offer. And he said, will you coach guys or just women? He is now a one-on-one client with me. And we are doing big, deep work building out a strategic sales plan and setting up a predictable and repeatable sales process for his corporate furniture business. So he outfits hotels and corporate spaces. It's magical. We're having so much fun. Facebook pages and groups. So in the US only, the majority of Facebook users are women. Across the globe, it is more male. Women are 40% more likely to create groups that become meaningful to people. And they also create nearly 70% of all of the fundraisers. Now, I want to pause here and make sure I'm very clear. So, Facebook is saturated with massive amounts of groups and niches and chatter and talk, and it can be a just minefield to go into. But I want to show you here what I'm doing. It is all very strategic. So on the left here, you see my private group. If you're not in it, please join. I'd love to have you. There, I am sharing tips and tricks, and I do flash beta sales in that group for cheaper rates than I ever post on my website. So you definitely want to be in that group if you want to get access. The middle picture there is my personal profile. I make sure that that is completely connected to Sales Cheerleader because when I go and comment as Sarah Tucker on someone else's group post, and they're like, oh, that was an interesting insight. Who is this girl? Then they can quickly find how to see more about me. So if you don't have your website on your personal profile, I highly encourage you to do that ASAP. And then the next thing I want to recommend you do is find groups where your ideal customers are. So, once again, not the groups that you would necessarily be interested in. Maybe they match, but a lot of times they don't. So, for example, if you sell tea, you need to make sure you're seeking out the groups that are related to the women who and men who would be seeking out those artisanal teas. So, health and wellness groups can be really popular. You could get really, really specific once you deep dive and learn that ideal customer persona. So, once again, groups that your ideal customers are in should be your primary focus for where you're actually investing time. Now, once you get into those groups, you've got to engage. And once again, it is all about the ideal customer. So when I'm writing a comment, let's see, I see someone post, oh my goodness, sales is really difficult and challenging. Has anybody ever seen this objection before? Right? That is obviously bait for me. I'm like, oh, yes, I can help here. But I'm not pitching. I am straight up commenting, yes, I have experienced that objection before. And here is how I resolved it. I've tried this tactic and this tactic. Perhaps one of those would fit well for you. And then what I do is I go to my spreadsheet where I'm tracking who I'm communicating with and building relationships with, and I put their name there. And then I often even just copy their question. That way I have a running tally of A, who am I communicating with and attempting to nurture? And B, what are the common questions my ideal customer is asking? Because what does that drive? Well, it drives what I create content about. It drives what my Instagram, what my reels will be about, what I'm blogging about, all the things, right? No, I don't ever have to just come up with an idea for a blog because I have a content bank of at this point, I'm at 230 questions that I've seen asked in real time in Facebook groups. So to me, as a data girl, sometimes I am obsessed with actually being able to get to know my customers in those groups. So you're going to seek out those spaces. You're going to get creative and think, where could I find this? Where could I find my girl? Again, name her, give her a name. It makes it a lot more fun to kind of figure it out. I also will encourage you to create your own private group. This has been a great funnel for leads for me. I think most of you that are on here are in that group. But it's a great way, again, to really be able to get to know your ideal client. You're not going to join this group if you don't care about sales or if you don't have a business. Like all of these women are completely focused on what it is that I can bring to them. Next up is LinkedIn. I use LinkedIn predominantly professionally right now. Lily is here. So this is a place I need to step up my game. But I haven't focused on this yet. There's so many platforms, right? So many platforms. But LinkedIn is very interesting. If you follow the feed, which is here on my right side, it shares birthdays of the people you're connected to, if they make a job move. It just literally feeds you on a silver platter ways that you can connect with that ideal buyer once you've identified them. And then again, just like Facebook, there are tons of groups on LinkedIn. If you've not explored those, you'd be surprised about what the different topics are. So make sure you take a peek and see if you can find some groups that relate to your ideal customer. So the formula: clarity, consistency, community equals customers. Okay. It's not rocket science. So, once again, my why am I here? Why am I doing this? I firmly believe that women need more wealth. Like it's time. And with that wealth, we can change the world. I am unapologetically working to build generational wealth for my family. It is intentional. I am focused, and I want to support all of the women that have those same goals and objectives. These are a couple testimonials of people that have worked with me and what their experience has been like. Erin runs Her Heartland Soul, a very successful blog. If you haven't checked it out, definitely do. She shared some very kind words. I won't read them to you. I know that you all can read. But that definitely describes my style. If you were to choose to work with me, Erin did a great job of kind of breaking it down. Melanie, another local now friend and client. If you're not following her at Your Confident Style on Instagram, you definitely should be. So her and I worked on some really cool stuff, especially around her ideal customer. And then we brainstormed ways that she could reach them on Instagram. So I gave her content ideas. We made a good strategic plan. I think she had a pretty good experience. So, what do I sell? I sell two things. These are two slides, and then we're going to get to questions. I'm going to get the PowerPoint or whatever it is out of here. So, I have a sales strategy power hour offer. So that beta investment is 175. What do you get? You get a 1 hour deep dive with me where we discuss all of your current sales strategies and tactics and methods. And then 72 hours later, I will deliver you an action plan, a sales strategy action plan of what you can do for the next 30 to 60 days to change that strategy, all the way down to I want you to post a reel on Monday. I want you to post an IGTV on Tuesday. Here's what it'll be about. Like it is very detailed. So that is someone who needs to make a money move now, right? So you're like, listen, I'm about to lose this business or I'm about to have to go get a job. Like I need to literally take action now and change this season. And so that is what this is designed for. It's designed to find you clients immediately. And then my big investment is my 90-day deep dive boot camp. So those of you that want one-on-one, all of the foundations of sales, that's what this would be for. If you're interested in that, we book a call, we talk about it. I'm not going to pitch you on that right now. So, if you are ready to supercharge your revenue, this is the URL that you can go to sign up to get a discovery call and we can talk about it more. That is all of the pitch. Closing this out. Hello, now I can see your faces again. Oh, we've got Miami, Florida. Awesome. Lots and lots of Omaha, Pennsylvania. Cool. Oh, lots of Pennsylvania. Do you guys all know each other? That's cool. There's 3 Pennsylvania people. Small world. All right. So I'm here to answer questions. Go ahead and put them in the chat if you're like, that was interesting, but she went too fast here or too slow here. How can I add more value? We can get specific on your ICA. Like, you can test me. Let's go. If you don't have questions, that is the end of our presentation. But feel free. I'm here to hang out for 10 minutes or so. Yeah, it was so fun. Did you guys find value? Was that helpful? Did you learn something new? Excellent. Yes. Good, good, good. All right. If we
I
have
guess I have a question if you don't mind.
totally.
Um, I love what you're doing, and I had a question specifically for, I guess I have two, but starting with Instagram, I am transitioning my personal account into bringing more about what I do, but I don't have a specific package that I'm selling. I sell my services, but I don't have a specific packaging. So, do you have any quick suggestions as to how I can do, because I do suffer from a little bit of that. I don't want to feel salesy. So how
Mhm.
can I be more specific and targeting and speaking about what I do without sounding salesy, being that I don't have an actual package, but I do have services that I'm clear on.
Tell me what you sell.
So I do branding and content strategy for small
Okay.
business. So I have two target audiences. So I have creative entrepreneurs or small businesses that I work with. And if I was to put it into an ideal client, that's where my male target audience is at.
Mhm.
Um, Usually I would say 25 to 45 is the age range, and they have a small business, so not necessarily a startup per se. And
Okay.
they have had some success there with the business, so now they're trying to better show up online. We either create a full brand or just grow on Instagram or on their social media. And then my other target audience are artists, specifically musicians that love their art, love what they do, but they don't necessarily have, like, they might be showing up online, but they don't have a strategy behind how to show up online and how to turn that into downloads and into, views on YouTube and stuff like that.
Cool. Melanie, what's your Instagram? We're going to pull it up and we're going to look at it together really quick and I'll give you some
Okay,
ideas.
Melly Mel Vargas.
Okay. One sec.
Yeah. So
Yay,
what?
I love that. That's so cool.
Thank
Let's
you.
see it.
Thank you. So what you'll see is that I don't have like a fully business Instagram account. It is a personal where I'm adding, like I'm bringing in more of my business side. So that's where my question was, how can I keep it being me and being my personality and bring in some other elements of me? And I do have content pillars, but how can I be more direct when it comes to, let me help you, I'm here to serve you?
Sure. Will you put the spelling of your Instagram handle in the chat? Because
Yeah,
I
of course.
but my first thing I would say is, are you putting yourself in that ideal customer avatar's mindset? And then two, I always remind people of this: selling is serving. So your transformation and your solution could really impact a musician's life in a very positive way. But they don't know that because you aren't telling them. So I would encourage you, it's very there's a bro selling culture that unfortunately has really overtaken what people think that sales is. My approach is the exact opposite of that. I will never hard sell anyone. I will never guilt someone into buying something from me. I'm simply here to say, hey, this is my superpower. This is what I'm good at. If I can help you, fabulous. If not, great. Stay here and enjoy this free content. And I think you could really approach it the same way. But again, you've got to share the story. So you said you don't have specific packages, but you do have things to sell. Do you mean that you are doing a more custom quote based on each individual's needs?
Yes.
Is that what you mean? Okay, that's fine. That doesn't matter. I don't share pricing on Instagram. You're much more talking, and I also highly discourage people to share features and benefits.
Yeah.
No one gives a bleep
Mhm.
about that. What they care about is the transformation, and that's all that they care about. So think about what that end game, if that musician was to hire you to build out that content strategy, what will their life be like in 60 days, 90 days, 2 years? and talk about the transformation rather than specific packages or features and benefits. People want to be able to envision what it means to work with you. That's why I say I help women build wealth, so you can picture the dollars. Does that make sense? Is that
Yeah.
helpful?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Good, good. Who else
Hey,
has questions? Hello,
I have a question.
welcome. I'm glad you guys could unmute. I didn't know if I was going to be able to let you do
Yeah,
that.
I ran in just as you were getting going. So, um,
Awesome.
anyhow, so I heard you say sharing your how you help people, what you do. How much do you share that before it gets to be too like salesy, essentially?
Mhm. Great question. So keep in mind that most humans need to hear the same message 7 times before it sticks. 7 times. And also, I think the last stat I saw was that only 3% of your followers on average actually see your posts. Now, everyone will have a different engagement strategy, and you can check your insights to see. But traditionally, just a standard post on Instagram, only a small fraction of your followers actually see it. Like I have 900 and something followers, and I think my last post had 230 views. So, like, it's not everyone's on there every day. Some people follow thousands of accounts. So, getting to yours is like a needle in a haystack. And that is why I think it's so important, especially on Instagram. You've got to use every feature. So, Instagram designs their app to reward the users that are actually doing all of the things. So, if you're doing IGTV and you're doing reels and you're making guides and you have highlights and you're going live and you're posting and you're commenting, then they like you better than the users that are only doing a fraction of those things. So
Okay.
I think it will take, especially for women, and especially if you're thinking of that question, then you're not posting too much. If your followers are engaging and you're switching up the content in different ways to share value, then you're laser focused on that ICA, right? Sophie, I always think when I'm creating stuff for the week, what does Sophie want to learn this week? How can I share my abilities and my superpowers in different ways this week that could get her excited to actually pop me a DM, right?
Okay. And it sounds like DM is a big goal. We want to like get people DMing us so we can get like an engagement going.
Yes, yeah, because a lot of sales can happen in those direct messages, because then you actually get to build that authentic relationship beyond just a comment. It's also really important to think about it as far as engagement in your stories. When people DM you from your story, then your story will come up first for them for the next couple of weeks. So it also gets you stickier in front of that ideal customer if they actually like, or that's why you put the scrolly bar thing, like that's all of those tools within the Instagram stories icon. All of those engagement tools are there so that Instagram can know, okay, Julie likes sales cheerleader post 80% of the time. We're going to make sure she sees it more frequently so she doesn't miss anything.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. And so I'm seeing a lot of, sorry, I shouldn't take up all your time, but
You're good.
I've been seeing a lot of people now, tipping people off to save, tag somebody, blah, 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 just in the last week or two. That's like the big thing now.
Yeah. So if you follow the @creators account on Instagram, those are the actual people that are running the algorithm and running the app. And they, I believe, threw down like a blog post. I'm feeling like I'm kind of making this up, but I don't think I am. I couldn't like reference it for you, but this is what I'm pretty sure I heard. And it said that saves are now more valued in the algorithm because they want more high quality educational content and high
Oh,
quality things that people will want to see again, right? Because you got to think again about who's creating this app and what are their objectives. Well, the Instagram CEO's objective is to get people on Instagram and not let them leave. So they want to keep feeding them the content that gets them excited, right? At the end of the day, that is the objective.
so
So
educate.
remembering that can help drive what you do.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Any other questions, guys? All right, it's time for a cocktail. So if you're not in Your Sales Cheerleader Facebook group, please come and join that. That's an easy way to get access to me. Also follow me on Sales Cheerleader on Instagram. I am there every single day. And I'm Sarah at salescheerleader.com for email. I'm here to serve. So let me know how I can do that. I really enjoyed the night. Thank you all so much for coming. Thank you. Thank you. Bye, guys.